All right, I got a guest today, Mr. P. Brown. Come and join us. It's an amazing couple verses in Hebrews chapter 12.
Welcome to Bible Time.
Welcome to Bible Time, everybody. I am here today with my buddy, Parker Brown. He wanted to be in it, but now he's acting all shy. Don't be shy, okay? We're going to read the Bible together. We're in Hebrews chapter 12. I love having kids join because their perspective is so different. Jesus said, "Come to me like a little child, or you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven." And so, Parker, you're going to lead us through this today, okay? I'm going to read a couple verses, and then I want you to ask questions. I want you to tell us your thoughts, and we can learn together. Sound good? Okay, this is what it says in Hebrews chapter 12. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and
What does
sin.
witnesses mean?
Okay, here. How about this? I'm going to read these two verses, and then we're going to go back and talk about it because these two verses are just worthy of talking about. So, just listen really closely, okay? Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Okay, but there's a lot going on in this section here. So I'm going to remind everybody and let you know, Parker, that the entire last chapter, all of chapter 11, was all about people who lived by faith. All of these yellow circles here, these are all the references to faith. So, if all of these people from the Bible lived by faith, then first let's talk about what faith is. So, do you know what faith is, bud?
I forgot.
You forgot? Do you believe in Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay, so I could say you have faith in Jesus. So faith is believing in, trusting in, giving your life to. And so have you done that with Jesus? Giving your life to him? And he lives in your heart? Yeah, that's the only way that happens is because of your faith. So you put your faith in him, right? You believe in him. Okay, so all of these people from the Bible put their faith in God and really believed in him. And so now this author is talking to us, me and you, and everybody out there. He's saying, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. So when it says witnesses, it's talking about all of those people. So a witness is somebody watching something happen. Okay? So like if you saw a car accident and the police came to talk to you, they would say, "Hey, you were a witness to that car accident. Can I ask you a few questions?" That makes sense?
Because I was watching.
Because you were watching it. And then Jesus says, "You will be my witnesses all over the world." So if you've seen and experienced something with God, then he wants us to tell everybody else about it. That makes sense?
What was the other word?
Witness. We are a witness to everything that God has done.
Like we look.
Well, it's not just looking at something, it's experiencing something.
I don't know what that means.
Experience?
Yeah.
So, if we have a relationship with God, we've experienced that, then we would bear witness, tell everybody about it. What this passage is saying is that me and you, even though all the people in the Bible are dead, they're actually watching us right now. We're surrounded by all of these witnesses that are watching us live out our faith in this life. It was just talking in chapter 11 about all these great things that people did for God, and now it's our turn to do great things for God. Did you know that? Well, that's why every night I tell you that you're important. People love you. They want to know what you have to say. And then I say what? You're important because you are
God's son.
Say it louder so they can hear.
God's son.
That's right. I say you're important because you're God's son. And first and foremost, it has nothing to do with what you do. It's primarily because of who you are. You're God's son first. And then you're important because of what you do. Because God wants you to
Witness.
build his kingdom. Right? And the way that we build his kingdom is by telling people about him, serving him, obeying his commands, loving him, loving people. Okay, so the author here is saying, therefore, in light of everything that we just talked about, we're surrounded by all of these people that have run this race of faith before us. And so now we have the invitation to lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely. So do you know what sin is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like doing something bad.
Doing something bad? Why? What makes something bad? Why it would be bad?
Why would it be bad?
I guess what I'm saying is, if we do something bad, it's sin because it's something that God doesn't want us to do. It's not just bad for no reason. It's bad because God designed us to not do that thing, right? So when this guy's saying, lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, do you know what clings means?
No.
Holds on to you.
Oh.
So you know how you and I wrestle sometimes,
Yeah.
and I'm squeezing you and pinning you on the ground? That's what sin does. Sin is like grabbing onto us and trying to hold us down, trying to get us to do bad things. But because of Jesus, we have the power to push sin off of us. Like, can you imagine if me and you were wrestling and you were stronger than me and I was never able to pin you because you just like, boop, see ya, Dad. You just pushed me off of you, even though I weigh more than you, even though I'm stronger than you. What if you were actually stronger than me? Wouldn't that be awesome? That's the power that you have against sin. When sin is wrestling you and squeezing you and you say, I can't breathe, that's what sin does to our life. But you have the power to throw sin off of you. Like a strong wrestler just pushing the other guy off. You have the power to, that's what it says, lay aside every weight and sin which clings to you. You can throw it off of you.
It's kind of like fear.
It's kind of like fear. Yeah. You can say no to fear. You can say no to sin. And so what he's saying is, because we're walking in this life of faith and so many people have gone before us, let us now pick up the responsibility. Throw off sin. Throw off the bad stuff that clings onto you. And then he says this, let us run with endurance the race marked out for us. So do you know what running is? I have you do it sometimes. Do you know what a race is? What's a race?
It's like whoever gets to the finish line wins.
That's right.
Because you run.
And in some races, it's not just about who gets to the finish line first, it's about who makes it to the finish line. So we want everybody to make it to the finish line, no matter what order they come in. Okay, now this word right here, this is a word I've been talking to you about lately, actually, endurance. Do you know what that word means?
No.
Okay, so when I say, hey, go run up to the park and back 5 times, and you're like, I'm tired, and I say, man, you got to build your endurance. Do you know what it means now? I'm saying, like, the fact that you kind of are breathing hard and getting tired, just running a couple laps to the park means that you may be a little out of shape. Endurance is building the ability to continue to do something with strength, to keep going. That's what endurance is.
Like, I keep going even though I'm tired.
Or you grow to the place where you don't become as tired because you're in better shape. And so what he's saying here is, because of faith, let's throw off the sin that's wrestling us and holding on to us, because you're strong enough to throw it off. And then let's run the race that God has set for us. Let's run with endurance. And the way that you run with endurance is this: looking to Jesus. Keep your eyes focused on Jesus. If you're running up to the park, what are you usually running to? The park, and you're supposed to touch that sign, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the sign is like your finish line. or like the thing, your goal that you're looking at. Okay, I'm going to that sign, and then I'm gonna touch that sign, and then I'm gonna run to the house, and you're looking at the house. What this passage is saying is, in life, if life is like a race that we're running, that we need to look to Jesus as our finish line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, we need to think about Jesus. We need to pray to Jesus. We need to think in our minds, man, I can do this because God is with me. I can do this because I know I saw Jesus do it, and I know I can do it too.
Like the sign is gone and you're trying to touch him.
Yeah, you're trying to run to him. Looking to Jesus as your finish line. Why? Because he is the founder and the perfecter of our faith. He's the one that gave us faith, and he's the one that's going to make faith accomplish. This word perfecter, he's the one that makes faith accomplish what it was designed to accomplish. That's what that word means. And then it says this in closing. This is what Jesus did for us, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and now he's seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Did you know that Jesus was filled with joy to go to the cross for me and you? Yeah. Isn't that crazy? That even though he was tortured, beaten, whipped, and then killed on the cross, he was joyful to do it because he got to be in relationship with me and you. Isn't that crazy? I mean, come on. Who wants to be beat up? Who wants to be killed? Remember yesterday how we talked about the difference between joy and happiness?
I told you that.
You told me that. Yeah, what did you tell me? I want everybody else out there to hear you. What's the difference between joy and happiness?
Happiness goes away, but joy never goes away.
Right, so happiness is based on your emotions and your situation. And so Jesus probably wasn't too happy about dying on the cross, right? But he was filled with joy, because joy is based on something deeper than just your emotions and the moment. Joy is based on purpose and character and identity. And Jesus knew his identity, he was walking in his character, and he was fulfilling his purpose. Dying on the cross for him was a joy for him because he was reconciling, restoring relationship with people to him.
What is
Restoring. Reconciling means putting broken things back together again. Our lives were broken and separated from God, but he put us back together with him. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Okay, so in life, we are to throw off the sin that's trying to wrestle us. We are to run the race with endurance, with strength that he's called us to. We're to fix our eyes on Jesus, and we're to remember that he endured the cross with joy for us, and now he's seated in victory at God's right hand. Isn't that awesome? High five. Love you, bud.
That's your idea.
Love all you guys. Thanks for joining us today. These are some things to consider. Throw off sin. Run with perseverance the race marked out for you. Consider Jesus. Fix your eyes on Jesus. And remember that he did what he did out of joy. And he's seated in victory right now. And so we have victory in our lives through his Spirit living inside of us. So thanks for joining us today. God bless. Say goodbye.
Bye.